Hail, welcome to NinjaBill Reviews and Razyel Kane, and it is the Wheel of Time books in review, and this will be a review of Book 7, and Razyel Kane, say hello to everyone, and yes, Book 7, The Crown of Swords, one of our favorite books. Say hello to everyone, tell them where they can find you and what you're up to.
You're about to find me at a hospital because I've been sick, but you can find me on
Boy,
YouTube at Razyel Kane Reviews, and you can find me at on Instagram because that's another thing I use a lot, and on Facebook again at there's two accounts. There's Razyel Kane, and then there's my page Razyel Kane Reviews, which I would prefer people go to instead of sending me a friend request because it's when people follow your page, you don't see their stuff, you don't see their family pictures and their activities. So yeah, pages, I should focus more on my page. How are you?
I am doing well. Uh, Real quick, recap what they can find on your YouTube channel because you've been doing
uh,
something recently that bears watching.
yes, I've been lucky. Okay, basically I started my YouTube doing voice actor spotlight. So basically I take an actor and I look at most of his roles in voiceovers, live action, and movies if they did any. And then after that, I started doing some tour reviews. But now I've been lucky enough three times to do interviews. So far, I've interviewed John Machida Jr., um, Neil Ross, and Michael Bell. And this Wednesday, I'm going to interview Greg Berger. It's set up. It's done. So yes, and my wife
And
just brought me a glass of water because I totally forgot.
nice cup, by the way. And I hope you do start feeling better. And Raziel just did a series of six videos in total, I think, of the Jin Bao
Seven. So basically, a
7.
video a week on the Jin Bao series for the Devastator set, which is nope,
The other way, there you go.
right there.
Boom.
And Mixmaster is so loose, I had to prop. So basically, Scrapper is on top of the rock, but
Hmm.
Mixmaster is under, like behind the rock, so that he doesn't move. So
There you
didn't
go.
have
And
much choice.
awesome. And I, of course, am Ninja Bill of Ninja Bill Reviews. You can find me on YouTube at Ninja Bill Reviews. You can also find me on Facebook as Shinobi Birru. You can find me on tformers.com as Ninja Bill or Ninja Bill Reviews. I forget which. And that's basically where you can find me. I also have a Twitch account I never use, a Twitter account, which I never use, and a Discord account, which I haven't used in probably a year because I can't get into it. Anyway, and I've got some, I just recently reviewed the God Gundam, so you can check that out. I've got a lot of other videos coming up, more Gundam reviews and things like that. So starting to sort of switch gears in my channel from Transformers into Gundam, and it's just hey, two lows in my life. Well, three, but Gundam and Transformers are among them, and yeah.
But
So
you're transitioning, but you're still gonna do Transformers once in a while, right?
yep. I
Okay.
sure am. So anyway, we are here to check out the Wheel of Time, Book 7, The Crown of Swords by Robert Jordan, and it is a lovely book. A lovely book. Hey, mine's bigger, folks.
Yep.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. It's still a great story. Love that original artwork on there. His has it too. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a big,
it's
thick book.
great.
It's a big, thick book, and either version, it's a great story. And continuing where we left off, Rand had been captured and rescued, and he is, now he's starting to make his moves. Before it was all about securing one thing after another
Yeah.
to be the Dragon Reborn. Well, now he's starting to take. It was almost always on the defensive, but he's switching. In this book, he starts switching gears to taking more offense than defense. Hello, David CT, and welcome.
Hey,
Uh,
David.
Just in case you guys didn't notice, I'm the only one here and about to watch Netflix, so that's okay. That's okay. The show will go on with or without people watching, I suppose.
Yeah. It's
So,
just more about the talk than the showcasing.
yep. So, um, Rand Rand has found out that in the previous book, when they were attacked at Kerhane, I believe it was, with the Shido, Samael had attacked them with lightning, and Rand knew who it was. So now Rand is moving to attack Samael, and while he has been hiding in Illian, how do you Illian?
Alien. Why I pronounce it alien?
Illian? Yeah, we'll go with Illian. So,
I'm just looking
he,
for alien on the map.
oh yes,
I've
the map.
I've missed looking at that map and trying to find.
I'm going to find one real quick and put it up on
Oh,
the
there it
screen.
is. There's alien at the bottom. Yeah, it's the southmost city of the continent.
Yeah.
So Samael is hiding there, and Rand is going to go after him. And in the meantime, Elaine, Ninaive, and Burgett are meeting up with Matt in which city again? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the. It's been such a long time since I've read this.
Hmm.
In Abu Dar, and they're looking for the Bowl of Winds, which, if I recall correctly, it's Egwin that found it in a dream, right? She was
Yes.
dreaming and trying to focus on basically the dream world. You can focus on not a thing, but something that you need, something that will help you.
Hmm.
And just by concentrating, you the dream will take you to there. So she found it, but she doesn't know where it is. She figured which city, but that's it. And the girls are looking for it.
Yep. And this is a map of Ilin, the city that, or no, you said they're in Ebodar. So I
No,
brought up
no,
a
no.
wrong.
They're in. Hold on, hold on, hold
That,
on.
yeah, they're in Ilin.
No,
Ilian.
they're in it. They're sorry, man. Rand is in Alien.
Hmm.
The girls are in Ibudar.
Ebodar. Yep. So Rand is going off to, beat Samael here in Ilian. And this is the right. This area right here is the royal palace of Ilian, where he will go to attack Samael, and he's very crafty about how he goes about it. As I recall, what he does is he doesn't take a large. Does he take the army, or I forget if he takes an army or if it's just a few maidens and himself?
I think if I recall, I think it's just a few. Like he doesn't put the city to siege. It's
Hmm.
just him and a couple maidens, and
That's right. Yeah, and they gate into the palace, and he starts a fight with the Samael, and they both end up. Samael gates away, and Rand follows him, and they end up in Shadar Logoth, if I'm not mistaken.
that's true. Uh,
And
but that's way at the end of the book. But yeah, they do end up like the whole book is again Rand struggling, and he has plans, and everybody's trying to give him advice, and he doesn't care, and he's hearing. Thanks, bye, David. And then he's trying to not go insane with the voice in his head, but
yeah,
he
he's
does take a more direct approach this time and goes after Samael, and then Samael lures him into Shadar Lagat. But then in in Shadar Lagat, Rand finds because it's not the first time he goes there for during like he went in the first book, but then they
mhm.
go back and one
And
of
he
them
lost a maiden.
he lost a maiden, but he finds her again in this book,
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
right. He does. Yes,
he
he
does
does. But
find her,
she's
but
tainted, evil.
She's mostly insane, but he's like, you know me. And eventually she does recall who he is, but she just runs away wailing about the Caracan, and she fled. And that's when, hold on, I'm in the book. I'm at the part now.
Mm.
I'm trying to.
And
Yeah. There's Trollocs and Myrdral also in there, controlled by Samael, and they try to kill him, but he just uses Satan and just wipes him out.
yep, but
Yeah.
it isn't Rand who defeats him. It isn't Rand. He's Samael is defeated by the miasma that lives there. The or what do they call it? The Mashadar.
Yeah, it's Meshadar. Meshadar's out because it's night at
Yep.
eventually. And yeah, I'm at that part. He saw Meshadar, not a tendril, but a shining silver gray wave rolling out of one of the balconies, arching over their head, descending. And then eventually, boom,
Yep. He
he's
and
dead.
Samael gets caught in it, and at first, a lot of readers didn't truly know if he was dead or not, but it was later confirmed by Mr. Jordan that he was indeed, dead.
Yeah. That's one other thing. Like, there's a couple, well, him and there's another one uh, of the Forsaken that dies, but you don't know who killed it. And
Mhm.
Jordan's like, well, if you read the hints, you can figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody figured. There's one that nobody figured out. You had to just come out and say it. So sometimes you do stuff and you think you're subtle enough to people will guess it, but it makes sense in your head. But when other people are reading it, you're like, I'm not seeing it.
Like every one of my videos.
Yeah, that
Hey, it
happens.
made sense to me.
Exactly.
Yep, yep, yep.
So,
So, but
oh, that's the
um,
thing. Hey, that's one thing that we didn't talk about. Cat's wand.
say again.
Cat's yeah, what's her name? The Battle Agi Green Ice Sedai that came out of
Oh
retirement.
yes, yes, yes.
Cat's one. She's a fun character. She
Yep.
just walks in, introduce herself, and that's it. He has that he has that new advisor, and she's trying her damn best to gain his
Yeah,
trust.
Cad Swain is a character. Imagine the most domineering. Imagine your grandmother, folks. Imagine your grandmother,
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Domineering, authoritative, and takes no guff. That's Cad Swain in a nutshell. She's the oldest in the book series. In this book series, anyway, she's the oldest living Aes Sedai at either near 400 or over 400. Aes Sedai, not one of later in the books you'll find some that are they think are older than her, but they're not Aes Sedai proper, so
Yeah,
they're Wilders, so they don't count as Aes Sedai. But Cad Swain is considered the oldest, and other Aes Sedai, every time she walks into the room, the Aes Sedai are like gawping at her because they thought she was
yeah.
dead. Like,
And
aren't
every
you
time
dead?
when there's a big problem, she comes out of retirement and then she goes back into hiding because the council, everybody wants her to be the Emerald, and she doesn't want at
Yeah,
all. Doesn't care
and
about
she gets
politics.
sucked. Well, we don't want to jump ahead too far, but
Yeah,
she does sort of get suckered into doing things she doesn't,
yeah,
want to by fate or by the turning of the wheel. She was like, oh, I don't want to do. I have to do this, but
yeah.
it sucks.
Exactly. But she does. She went around. She tried to advise him, and then when he used Bellfire against, well, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, against one of the.
Mashadar against
Mhm.
Mashadar, but it was Peyton Fane that was there. So somehow Peyton Fane is able to conjure Mashadar as well at one point, and he Rand used the Bellfire, and she's like, "You will never do this again." Of
Oh
course,
yes,
he doesn't care, and he does it plenty of times. So
yeah. I mean, the throughout the series from this book forward, Cad Swain and him have a love-hate relationship. They, but it and a grudging respect for each other at the same time. You know, it's it's a formidable relationship
Yeah.
in that they're neither gives an inch to one another, and yet they do at
Mm.
the same time.
Rand is
At
way too stubborn for that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, he
and she's
wouldn't.
too stubborn to, and that's what makes it great is because they're both just bullheaded. They're
Oh yeah.
Cat
But
Swain is a
it
bully.
makes for great writing. The interactions and the discussions they have is really fun, really entertaining. I mean, it's she's going to be a big part of the rest of the series because she's going to be tied to Rand. She's going to follow him and try her damn best to not get him killed, and because that's basically the Aes Sedai. The White Tower is trying to control him. Well, that's Elida's, who is still Amerlin at this point in the book, and
Mhm.
she still thinks that
The world belongs to her.
she's owed glory. And God, I can't wait for her
Yep.
to be
See,
captured.
Cat Swain was given a vision by a reading by Min, I believe, and was it in the last book or this book? I forget what, but she is supposed to, do three things for Rand, to help him save the world, and if she doesn't, the world is doomed.
Yeah,
So she has to be around him. She has to stay beside him. Uh, uh, um, and Rand is aware of this reading because Min tells Rand everything.
yeah,
There are no secrets. Whatever she tells someone else, she tells Rand too. She literally holds no secrets from Rand whatsoever.
that's true.
So and she tells him
Which
about
right there, that's a work of fiction because no woman would keep no secret from a man. Sorry.
but so Mashadar has killed Samael, and
Yep.
meanwhile, I believe in Ebodar, uh, um, the
Well,
the
yeah.
girls. Go ahead.
Um, well, there's three part. Yeah, like you said, Alien, Saladar, and Ibudar.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I forgot about Saladar.
in
I forgot.
Saladar, Egwin and Sirwan yet attempt to manipulate the Aes Sedai rebels to move against Elida and the White Tower in Tarvalon. Land. Oh, that's right. Okay, last book. Uh, Moraine died.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Died.
she she threw herself onto on
Lanfear.
Landfear
And then they fell
into
into
the.
that red door to Rangrel
Yep.
that leads to another dimension, and then it blew up.
Yep.
And that's because Lanfear was super pissed that Rand slept with Avienda.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Lesson learned is never
yeah,
the anger of a woman scorned is. She told Rand, you can mess around and fool around, but don't you know.
don't love someone else.
Yep. And when
So
she.
she goes bananas, and but the link between her and Lan Mandragoran is severed, and that usually means for a warder that they're going to,
Go nuts.
well, they're going to go into despair and eventually kill themselves. And one way to do that, to avoid that, is to bind them. So there's another Aes Sedai who's in Saladar that Moraine already did a spell to transfer the link to her. Which one is it? Is it
I forget
Ali?
her name.
I think it's Alina. Uh, Alana? I don't recall.
Alana,
Uh,
no, Alana's not. She's a green as well, but it's not. Alana is the one that's bonded Rand against his will.
I'm
It's
looking at Lan's profile. Give me a quick second.
I think I thought it started with an M for some reason. I can't remember her
Oh,
name.
Mirel. It's Mirel
Yeah,
Berengari.
Muriel. Yeah,
Yeah.
Marielli, whatever her
Yeah.
name is.
I
Yeah,
call her Mirel. Mirelli, I guess.
yeah,
Mirelli.
Marilee. Maria.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know, but
she's in Saladar, so he goes there, but he's still pretty upset and down, and because of the effect of losing the link. But when he gets there, El, Egwene tells him Naive is in danger and she's in Ebudar. Go find her, and that freaking wakes him up. And he goes. He
hmm
gets on a horse and just pew. So he never does join with Mirel. Um, and then all this time, Egwene is trying to plot her move to the White Tower to try to march on it. And then her maid is getting most of the bad attention. I can't remember the name, but it's Forsaken in Disguise, who's
hmm
basically giving like Egwene is going to have
it's
those.
Grendel. It's Grendel in
It's
disguise.
Grendel. She's going to
Yep.
have those big. No, hold on. Isn't the maid? She's the man. Aes Sedai.
Oh, that's right. Not Ishmael. Uh,
She's the male that's been reborn into a woman by the Dark One, but
yeah.
but her even if it's a woman, she's still connected to Satan rather than Sadar. So basically, it's a woman that can cast that nobody in Saladar can detect, and
Um.
she because the woman can tell when men are channeling,
hmm
weaving, and so yeah, that's I thought that was really interesting because now that's a huge advantage to have a because the Red Ajah would look for a man casting Satan and try to gentle him. They would never think to look for a woman.
Yep.
So
Using the man's power because
exactly,
women can't sense the men. Like you said, they can't sense the men using power. So you know
yeah,
they have no idea what's going on. Uh, um, and it's a great side story. What because sometimes side stories are you can easily they're like a filler story and a filler episode in a series you're watching. You can easily overlook it, but there are important moments in these quote unquote filler stories. Uh,
yeah,
uh, um, you know, uh, um, I'm trying to remember. I think Morgazy was in this book as well.
yeah.
Elena's,
Chapter 26.
yeah, yeah,
What's
and she,
chapter 26? Hold on.
because
Because
Morgazy,
You call her Morgazy?
yep,
I always called
Morgazy.
her Morgas. 537. Hold on. Because I know she was captured by.
Pedroniel,
No,
if
she
I'm not
was
mistaken.
rescued by Pedro Nile.
Oh
But
yeah, rescued.
eventually, the children of the Light Compound is going to be attacked by the Sunshine and be completely wiped out. But then
hmm
Morgast is captured alongside her aide, and they're going to capture her. And then when they realize who she is, they present her to a dancer who used to be some high lord in is it Tenshiko or one of the West Coast, either Falm or
Yeah.
Tarabon or Almora, Tenshiko, and basically that tells her that the Sanctioned are able to condition anybody to do something else. So
hmm
they take lords and nobles from city, they capture them, and then they train and torture them until they become entertainer and dancers and all those people trained by the Ascension. They're all afraid, and they're all happy when they make their bosses happy, and
Yeah.
it's pretty terrible. Like
Y-
honestly, it's Ascension culture. It's hard to
It's scary.
it's hard to picture that they're descendants of Archer Arking. Like he
Yeah.
sent an army on a bunch of boats and told them go conquer and come back in 1,000 year. They come back and they're completely different.
Yep. Well,
They
but their outlook on women who use the power and men who use the power are derived from Archer Harkwing lived in a time where the Aes Sedai, where he, waged war against the Aes Sedai. So he saw them as nothing but
Yeah, I
tools.
guess.
So of course the Sanshan sees them as nothing but pets, literally as pets. They train them to be pets.
And
I
it's
mean,
sad that it was an
yeah,
Aes
yeah.
Sedai.
It's slavery. It is abject
Oh, it's
slavery.
slavery, basically.
Yep.
But it's an Aes Sedai that first devised the Adam, so that
Hmm.
the lords and people could control wilders and stuff like that. And then the first thing they do, they put it on that Aes Sedai, and she's the first Daman. I'm like, that's gratitude for you. So anyway, we digress. But Archer
Yeah.
arcing and everything, and then the Sanchin are going to attack the compound of the Children of the Light. Morgas is going to eventually. She's going to escape. I don't recall how. And her man, not servant, but he's the captain of the guard at the time when she was under the spell of the Forsaken that Rand killed at the end of book
Hmm.
405,
Yep.
and
What is
the
it?
captain of the
Jakeem?
guard.
No, it's what is his name? It's not Jakeem. It's Fal. No, that's not Fal. What?
I can't recall. But anyway, he runs with her and he helps her, survive.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they're gonna meet up with Perrin.
Yep.
But
Where's
Perrin's not gonna know who they are, and they're never gonna tell him. And Perrin is on his own mission. So they had a Rand and him had a stage fight. Basically, is what it is.
yes,
They had a fake fight,
Fallout? A fake
and
Fallout with each other.
Perrin
Yep.
left with most of his army, and Rand stayed in Carrion at that time. And basically, Perrin's mission is to make contact with the nation of the northern eastern hemisphere of
Hmm.
the continent. So he's gonna go north and try to recruit, and but everything's gonna go sideways for him. He's gonna meet up with. He's gonna be attacked by the rest of the Shido, and the Shido are they capture a whole town, and it's a good storyline though. But it's
It
just
is.
I would have wanted Perrin and Matt to stay together, but it just doesn't happen that way. They go on their separate ways. They build their army, and then they're gonna come back eventually and do something fun together. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but Perrin, I think he's my favorite character of this whole series. So I think he had a good arc. So he doesn't want to be a lord, and everybody's calling him a lord, but he takes his responsibility, and then he meets up again with Elias, which I thought was nice, and you
Oh
know
yeah. Elias is such a cool character.
yeah, and then Perrin is struggling with choosing between the axe and the hammer, and Elias told him use the axe until you like it. Then after that, you have to stop. So eventually,
Yeah.
Perrin just gives away the axe. He throws it in a tree and just leaves it there, and then he just uses his hammer from that moment on. So I thought that was good character development, and so yeah, so that's pretty much Saladar. That's what happens. Perrin a little bit, like Perrin isn't. He's not in much of the book.
Hmm.
14% is the book. But if you look at the other, Matt is 17% of this book. Egwin is
Hmm.
14%. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Rand is 12%, which is lower than the other characters.
yeah.
Um. So it's
But it's
it's
still
weird.
it's still pretty good. So Ime
Yeah, but
Budar, uh, Matt. Oh, I remember. So what I said about Morgas, that's going to be in the next book, because if I
yeah.
recall correctly, Matt is with in with Elaine and Naev, and they're searching for the Bowl of Winds. And one of my
Hmm.
favorite scenes, because there's political stuff, and Matt goes to a the palace of Ibudar, and he calls. There's a big meeting with the ocean people. God,
Um,
the people of the islands they do all the trade port.
yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I forget their name at
The wind.
moment.
I know
The
they
sea
have a
folk.
wind finder.
I just remember some characters would call them as the sea folk. Much beyond that,
Yeah, the sea folk. And anyway,
yeah.
so the sea folk are there and they're negotiating for something, but there's a big meeting going on. And Matt, because his brain is full of the past and memories he doesn't know, and he goes, and when one of the sea folk tries to cut him off while he's doing whatever speech, and he insults her by calling her a daughter of the sand.
Hmm.
And apparently that's like a major insult. And but it was well placed. So
Oh yes, because the girls are sitting in a room and they're all just trying to talk to this sea this sea folk gal, and after they're looking for the bowl of winds,
yeah,
and Matt just starts cursing at her and gives her the most in their culture and the most insulting thing you could ever say to someone in their own language, and that everybody just stares at her and she is ready to kill him
yeah,
for it.
but it
And
shut her up.
Matt is probably one of my absolute favorite characters because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just
He's so well
yeah,
written.
yeah.
But it's fun
So
because
I think
this is the book where basically they. My favorite scene is when Matt is sitting at a bar. He's outside on a terrace having a drink, and then one of his lieutenant is like, "What are we doing here? This is boring." And he's like, "You're enjoying a bad drink. I'm being Taveren." Because basically that's the theory. That's Naev's theory that and Elaine that Matt is just going to find the ball because he's Taverine. But
yep.
that's actually how it works because there's a
As literally they stumble upon it thanks to Matt.
because he's he just recalled that Burgett is Burgett Silverbow because she's
Mhm.
trying to stay hidden because she's not supposed to be there. She's supposed to be back in the dream while she's being recalled or reborn. And and he's like he's enjoying her company and he's thinking of pinching her, but he's like, you know what, she has the worst taste in men
Yep.
because she looks
And
at ugly men because of her connection to what's his name, the big ugly hero
uh,
she's destined to marry.
Julian, I think
Yeah,
no, not
no,
Julian.
Julian is one of the thief catcher.
Um, because Savannah is the one you're talking about. Um,
Hold
uh,
on, he must be in
I'm trying.
Cocaine Horn.
Isn't it? No, no, I can't
uh,
remember. I can't remember. But also in this
yeah,
book, is when Matt confronts his worst enemy, the Golem.
yep.
That's when he
Oh,
appears.
man,
The Golem
that was
appears.
such a scary creature, though.
He
Like
is a
honestly,
scary
the
creature.
golem is it's an artificial creature that's kept in a box by the Forsaken. One of those I don't know what they're called. Like it's a box that basically is
It
um,
just stores things permanently inside it until you release it.
exactly like but if you're
Like
in
a
that
time box.
box, you don't age. You don't. It's just outside of
Time.
reality.
Yeah.
And so the golem is given a mission to go after Matt
Well,
because
and the girls. And the
and,
girls.
yeah,
Yep. The
and
Isonet.
then well more after Matt because he's always going to go after Matt after that encounter.
Because Matt hurts him. That's why he
Yeah,
goes after Matt. Because the Golem can't be killed except by one thing and one thing only, and that's the medallion that Matt holds. And that medallion is what Matt got from the Aelfin or Aefin or whatever they're called,
yeah.
because he one of his requests to them was that he
He wanted to
not be
be
affected by the power. I
yeah.
believe it or something like that.
I think
So
he said that he didn't want to be. I think it was more general. Like, I don't want to be manipulated by the Aes Sedai, or maybe he said those power weaving women
Yeah,
or something like that. And then after that, so that he got that medallion that basically it's 100% magic resistance.
yeah.
That's what it
So
is in
the
Dungeons
power
and
can't.
Dragon
The
terms.
power just. I mean, the when the women later, see they try to use their powers to like trick him or to switch him or something. They're all always in shock as the power looks like it's just sliding off him like water. It
It
doesn't
just,
affect him at
yeah,
all.
the weave. I think the term is dissipate. The weave,
Yeah,
when they touch him, they dissipate. I
yeah,
think that's very useful item to have, and
yeah,
that because the golem is power route, like it was made out of the power.
hmm.
That thing can hurt it, and Matt finds it by accident. I think he whacks it with him, like, or it just happens that he has in his hand when he slaps him.
Well, he catches it when it's killing somebody. I forget who it was. He's trying to kill the golem is trying to kill in an alleyway, and Matt just happens to spot it, and he throws a dagger at it, and it goes
Oh
to
yeah,
attack
because
Matt.
throughout the whole book, there's girls being killed.
Yep,
Like there's a
yep.
serial killer on the loose,
Hmm.
and
And
Matt
because
catches
it
him
drinks
because he's
their blood.
Tamarine.
It's sort of vampiric as it likes to drink their insides.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot that.
Yep, and so
And
it,
it's scary because you can't kill it, and also it just disappears in cracks. Like
yeah,
it looks humanoid, but then it's just going
it looks
to
like a shadow.
it's is it?
Yeah, it moves like a shadow. It moves like a shadow. It can disappear in the shadows and nooks and
Well,
crannies.
it
And
exactly like it can bend in ways that we can't, and it just shrinks into a tiny hole, and he's gone. And
yep. And
I think
so
that's one of the
so
scariest assassin in that book.
it
That
is
whole
scary.
series. Yeah.
It is scary. And so Matt tries to attack it with a couple of throws a couple of knives at it, right? And the golem, thinks to itself, "You've just made a big mistake." And when it goes to attack him, they eventually start wrestling, and the golem touches Matt's medallion, and it screams in pain, and it's never felt pain before, and it sears that pain into its memory, and the one responsible, which is Matt, and
Yeah.
it
And then
swears that it will, you know, it'll kill him, and it kills whoever gets in his way to get to Matt. So, and it's it's a scary, scary creature. One of the scariest creatures. There's a lot of evil things in the Wheel of Time books, but the Golem is one of those who are just,
oh
it's
yeah,
just, yeah, yeah. It's a
he's
creature I would
it's
not want to
terrible.
see on TV.
Oh god, man, that
But
would have no, that would have been too scary. But anyway,
yeah.
the Matt eventually he's sitting at that bar being Tavaran, and that's before he meets the golem. But eventually,
Mhm.
someone's gonna walk by, and Matt's just gonna go, "I'm gonna follow this person." Goes and follows it, and by dumb luck, they end up in a
Sort of a
place where that's when we meet the
the
god, the
kin.
circle, the kin. That's
Yep,
where
the
we met.
kin.
I mean, I just remembered the kin. That's when we made the kin. So
Yep,
basically, the kin is
a
every
group.
has been and every never was Aes Sedai that are being rejected by
The
because they didn't
tower.
pass the test or anything like that. And basically, they are rescued in Tarvalon um, by the kin. And basically, the kin poses as a retreat for women,
Hmm.
and it's really a training center for people that the tower doesn't that don't want. They don't want
Yep.
to train them. They're not strong enough, so
But the
they
secret is that the White Tower knows exactly who they are because
yeah
they're saying they're secretly they're not controlled by the White Tower, but the White Tower is very aware of them. They're no they know the exact numbers. They know everything about them. They don't control them directly. It's indirectly.
yeah.
So
And
it's one
basically,
of
Matt follows this one girl, and then Naive and Elaine are already there because they are talking to
the
these
kin.
kin because they felt them when they were
And
channeling.
Anthanamir, that's right. Anthanamir, the sea folk. Anthanamir, that's the name we were trying to
Yeah,
remember.
that's
Anthanamir.
right.
Yep.
And then everybody's talking, and Matt just walks in because, and now everybody's feeling one of the kin channeling downstairs, and then the weave dissipates, and then Matt starts yelling that he thinks he found something, and not long after he finds the bowl. Well, not him. I think it's Elaine that finds it, but then they get ambushed by a bunch of dark friends, and they have to run away. And I think that's when they're actually going to go to that retreat in the next book. They're gonna
Yep.
go to that retreat to use because throughout this whole book, it's a million degrees outside. Temperature is raising
Yeah.
and rising and
And
rising
let's
and
not forget
rising.
and let's not forget with Matt too. One of the funniest things that's been happening to Matt this whole time he's been there is the Queen, Thailand, I think her name. Oh, the way she treats him
Oh
like
God, yeah.
he is her
She calls him
plaything.
Toy.
What she yeah, toy and kittens,
Toy,
and
that's his name. 'Cause he
she's
sleeps with her, and
yes,
then
toy.
she
She
she makes him wear ribbons and pink outfits,
it's more
and
like her raping him.
yeah, pretty much, eh?
Yes, she makes him wear
So,
frilly outfits and bright colors
and
and
that's gonna
forces herself
last
upon
for a
him, and
while.
it's
And yeah,
hmm
but at the end of the book, the girls actually they leave, and Matt is still in the city, and he's trying to. I don't know what he's trying. Um, oh wait, no, this is where. Okay, hold on. I skipped a couple beats.
hmm
Basically, at one point, they're. I think they're attacked by another. The girls are attacked by a Forsaken, and
hmm
they're fighting, and eventually Naev drops in the water, and she's knocked out, and she's drowning, and that's when Lan arrives. So basically, I was always thinking of this the land perspective of this book. So he gets to Saladar. Oh, the girl I love happens to be in Ibudar, and she might be in trouble. So I'm just gonna go there. So he gets there, tracks her, sees her drop in the water, and just like, oh, I really
dives
have
in
to
and
save her.
rescues.
Jumps in the water, saves her. That's it.
Yep, and because of that, she finally is able just to use the power because before
Oh,
she
that's
could
when
only
she
use the
breaks her block.
power she could only use the power when she was angry, and she'd be like tugging her braid constantly. It was one of the sort of an ongoing joke between all the characters where they see her pulling her braid is because she's frustrated or angry, and so whenever they saw her pulling their braid, they knew what was coming. You knew a
Exactly.
tantrum was coming, and so but yeah, and then after that, that at some point there in the book, I think it's in this book, don't they get married in this book,
Yep.
Lan and her?
They get married, but on a sea folk ship.
That's right.
In a sea folk marriage. So basically, the law of the sea folk is that one person in the couple is allowed to speak publicly, but the other person basically controls the intimacy. So basically, Nayev, who is the most strong-willed woman, because she's an Aes Sedai, she's gonna
Mhm.
have the power to speak publicly. But Lan, when they're alone, you shut the hell up and you do what I say. It's my house, my rules, my everything. So that's gonna be, and she's going to accept it, but she's gonna have a hard time. But it's cool that after 7 books, you see this union that's been formed in book one, and now they're together. And it's probably the least toxic relationship of this book, of this series. So I was really happy that it happened that way. So after that, I think either they kill or they spook away that Forsaken, and the girl leaves with the sea folk to go to the Kin's retreat. Matt stays in town, fights the golem, and then the next day, as he's getting ready to leave, because that's all he always what he wants to do, the Sanchin are coming back, and he realizes, that there's a fleet coming and they're bombing the city, probably using the manpower or stuff like that. And
Hmm.
eventually, Matt, the dice stop rattling and a freaking wall falls on him. And the last phrase he says, "What happened to my bloody luck?" But the wall doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
And then see him in the next book with a limp for a while.
Yep.
But it was the dice stopped rattling at the right time. That's his luck put
Yep.
him in a
And just
wall in a
stop
bad
right because
situation, but it was the best thing that could have happened to him. So yeah,
yep, and because of that
that's
wall fall on him, the Sanchan didn't find him, couldn't find him. So it was
that's right.
all things happen. All you know, all the
So he's
bad
able
things that
to.
happen in the book.
Well,
Go ahead.
he's still with Thailand in the next book,
Hmm.
and she still use him as a toy. But so he's seen around the palace, and the Sanction are aware of him, not who he is, and
Yes,
nobody is there yet to recognize him as being the horn bearer, the
hmm
horn sounder,
the horn sounder.
because
Yeah, yeah.
in the next book we're gonna see Beldamon again, who failed in his mission to drop the Adam in the water because he was
Hmm.
captured by the Sanction.
And I think the next book will introduce Daughter of the Nine Moons. Is it this the end of this book or the
Yep,
next book where Daughter of the
no,
Nine Moons?
it's in the next one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because man,
Which will
and
be
it's the worst wedding ceremony ever.
and it it's it's one of the worst best things that ever happened in his life. Despite all the hardships he's going to go through in this series, this will
Yeah,
be the toughest thing he's ever had to face as the
yeah.
Daughter of the Nine Moons
So,
because he knows about her.
well, he
Even in
knows
this
that he's
book,
supposed to marry
yeah, the Daughter of
the
the
daughter
Nine
of the
Moons.
Nine Moons,
He-
but then nobody knows who that is, and he's been asking that to every girl he meets. Does
the
daughter
Daughter of
of
the
the
Nine
Nine
Moons.
Moons mean anything to you?
Yep. Even
So,
in this book, has been asking that question.
yeah,
So yeah, it should be really interesting. Yeah, really interesting. And the book pretty much closes, with the Sanchan
yeah.
successfully invading the city, and
Well,
that's the
I
end
think
of
it
book
does
7.
end with Matt saying, "What happened to my bloody luck?" Hold
Yeah, let me.
on. No, it ends with. It's Rand. Oh yeah, because Rand becomes king of Ilion.
Yes.
Because yeah, so yeah, Rand is king of Ilion. He's the steward of Camlin and Carrion. So he's getting to, and he's the Karakan. So he's fulfilling every prophecy, and he's becoming king everywhere.
Yep. Yep. Rand gingerly. They're talking about Rand. Gingerly, he set the circle of the laurel leaves on Rand's head. Half those swords pointed up, half down. No head would wear this crown casually or easily. Gregarian bowed smoothly. The light of illume Randall Thor, king of the Ilion, he intoned, and the 7 other lords bowed with him, murmuring, "The light illumed Randall Thor, king of Ilion." Uh, Bashir, who was one of his lieutenants,
Yep.
contented himself with a bow of his head. He was the uncle to a queen, after all.
I think that's something we forgot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We must have.
Bashir meets Perrin in Camlin, and
Hmm.
because basically Bashir and his wife are there because they work for Rand. And I think Bashir's wife just got there, and Fail is there with Perrin, and Fail has to have a discussion with her
Bashir.
mother because she got married without their consent. And
Yeah. Oh
Bashir is
yeah.
casually talking with Perrin, making him angry, saying that basically he said, "If my wife doesn't approve of your marriage, I get to kill you." And he says that with a smile, with his
Yeah.
leg over his arm.
As casually as we're conversing, he says it to Perrin. As casually as
Yeah,
we're talking.
I get to kill you. And then Perrin is so mad because he thinks he might lose Fail that he actually crushes a steel goblet
He's
in his
strong.
hand, completely crushed it. And
Yep.
eventually, well, the mother, gets he gets the okay. So now he's, I guess,
Yeah.
parent is now related to Bashir. So
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that
So
was,
son-in-law,
yeah,
son-in-law to a king, son-in-law to a
exactly.
king.
So that's how you tie the two river. Hold on, where is she from? She's from one of the realm up north. Is it Maradon
um,
or Budar Ebar?
no, no, no.
Bandar?
Uh,
No,
uh,
she's part of the border, one of the border, the
Borderlander. Yeah, she's a
borderlander.
Borderlander.
So she's
Yeah.
the leftmost one. So yeah, it's Maradon. She's a Maradonian, and basically, so technically, that means that Two River and Maradon are now allied by marriage. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that once again that brings a book to the close, and we'll see you guys next month for book 8 of the Wheel and Time series. And Razyel Kane, once again, tell them who you are, where to find you, and then close us out, please.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you tune in Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. Hold on, it's 6 p.m. Pacific that he told me. So yeah, 9 p.m. EST for my interview with Greg Berger.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And you want me to close this out? So all right. Please, I hope you've enjoyed this book review. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also, leave a comment. We love reading those. And remember, nothing in life gives you a right to be an asshole. Take
And
care.
thank you for watching, everyone.